Shalom, shalom, Israel, to all the 12 tribes, Israel scattered abroad to the four corners. This is Officer Moshe. To my right, I got Brother Abiyahu.
Shalom.
This is Ukoic, Baltimore, our first lesson. Hope everybody gets edification from it. The topic of the day will be on the kingdom, the aspects of how do we get the kingdom and what's going to happen to us and for us as Israel when we get the kingdom. And starting with, we want to turn to John 8:32.
This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
The truth shall make you free, which is, again, against what we're in this bondage now because we don't have the truth.
Okay.
So the truth is going to set us free. When we get that truth, we search for it, it'll give us that freedom, that free state of mind, state of being that we need to be in to go further in this walk. And so what is the truth? We want to go to Psalms 119, verse 142.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Thy law is the truth. The Most High law is the truth. His word that we need to live by. That is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. Self-explanatory. So we go to that 2 Timothy 3:16.
It's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, and verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Elohim may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
And that's what that truth does for us. It makes us perfect and instructs us in righteousness on how to live. You know, it gives us that guidance in our life. So we want to go back to Psalms 119. I want 104, because a lot of people think they have the truth, but they don't, because they accept certain things.
It's again the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way.
And that's what I meant. A lot of people think they're in the truth, but they're accepting false ways. If you're in that truth, you know the truth, you hate false ways. You know what the false ways are. Like Christmas, Father's Day, which passed, those are false ways. And the Israelite, we hate those ways. You know, we battle the world, we battle our families all the time against those false ways. Okay. It's a constant battle. So now we want to go into Deuteronomy 28:1. Starting with, how do we get the kingdom? We want to start off with this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh Eloheha, to observe and do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahweh Eloheha will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right. So keeping his commandments is what's going to get us to the kingdom. We say we keep his commandments, he's going to set us apart, set us above all people. And that's what getting the kingdom is. That's being a nation, that we're supposed to be above all people.
Okay.
And so we want to get that. Where we had that at? Okay, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. You know, the Most High set us apart, set us above all people, contrary to what other people think, that we are the same, that, God created all of us equally. I beg to differ, and so does the scriptures. So let's see what it say.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy God. Yahweh thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are on the face of the earth.
Okay. So right there, he chose us to be that special people to him, his apple of his eye. And he set us apart to be above all people on the face of the earth. So we're not created equal. We're supposed to be the ruling class of the earth.
Okay.
So we want to go to Exodus 15:26. It's keeping in that order of keeping in the commandments will keep us blessed and keep us with the Most High.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 15 and verse 26. And said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of Yahweh thy El, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am Yahweh that healeth thee.
Kind. So right there, just on a, I guess you could say, a physical level, when we keep the commandments, the Most High keeps us safe from diseases. When we keep the commandments, the dietary laws, we don't eat pork, we don't eat shrimp, and all those other abominable things that gives us diseases, gives us worms and other detestable things, just corrupts our bodies. Just by that, keeping his laws keeps us safe from those things. It's a common sense thing when we keep the commandments, when we learn the commandments. It's a common sense. So from there, let's go to Leviticus 26:3.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 3. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit.
Okay. And it's another example of more blessings of what we get when we keep his commandments. We get safe from diseases, which means we get to live a healthy life by keeping his commandments. Right here it says he's going to give us rain in due season. So our crops will grow. We get food. All blessings come from the Most High when we keep his commandments. So there's an abundance of things that we get when we keep his commandments. So from there, let's go to Deuteronomy 28:1. Deuteronomy 1, verse 8. Slavic.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 8. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them.
Kind. So right there it knows that land of Israel was promised to us. Promised to Israel. And to our forefathers Abraham and to his seed. We are that seed. That's showing that one of the blessings, because Israel is where the kingdom is going to be at, and it was promised to us. Just another thing. So from there, we want to go to Slatia. Let's go all the way to Revelations 22:14. Because again, as I was stating, we're going to be blessed for keeping these commandments. It's the one reason that we in this captivity that we in now, and in all captivities that we've been through in history, has been because we fall short of keeping those commandments.
Okay. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 22 and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Let me continue.
Okay. Continue.
For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Okay. So right there we see keeping the commandments will give us the kingdom. And outside of the kingdom, it's going to be, can you read that again? 15.
For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whoever loveth and maketh a lie.
A lie, which is the opposite of the truth that we started with.
Okay.
You know, all those abominable things are going to be outside of the kingdom. So only the righteous is going to be in the kingdom. Which is going to bring me to Proverbs 14. We'll go to verse 34.
That was 14.
Okay.
34. The book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 34. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people.
Okay. So that right there just precepts off of that last Revelations. That righteousness exalts us, sets us above all nations, gives us the kingdom. And what was the last part of that?
But sin is a reproach to any people.
Sin, those whoremongers, those dogs, those sorcerers, that's outside of the kingdom. That's the reproach. That's why they're not in the kingdom.
Okay.
You know? So that's the things that we got to stay away from. Stay in this righteousness. And speaking of which, let's go to Matthew 18.
Chapter 18.
Okay.
And what verse?
3.
Book of St. Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 3.
Yeah.
And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Okay. So, right there, we have to become like little kids, not knowing anything, because we're coming out of this world. So what we learn from the world, we got to forget. We got to erase that from our mind. And we got to become like kids, learning everything again. And that's how we got to come to the Most High. It's like your kids, if any of you out there have kids, your kids come to you, they asking you everything. How to do this, how to tie your shoes, how to put on clothes, everything. You know, that's how we got to come to the Most High. We got to ask him how to do everything all over again. We might be grown 40, 50, however old we are. We got to come fresh and new, like a little kid, and learn everything over again, because we lost everything. We lost our culture, our heritage, you know, everything, you know, from our style of dress, how we wear our hair. We lost all of that. So now we got to learn it again, just like a child.
Okay. Slarky, if I could read verse 4 also.
Okay.
This is the same chapter of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 4. It reads, Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay.
So I go right along with what you were saying as far as how we have to make ourselves as little children again and be willing to unlearn the things that we've learned in this wicked world and relearn things in accordance with how the Most High has directed us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So go to, what was it, 15? Matthew? Well, no, 5.
Chapter 5, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, start with verse 18.
Okay.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, One jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay. So right there, also trying to get the kingdom of heaven and going along with keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, that just shows that from Mashiach mouth itself, telling us that if we do and teach them, we're considered great. And if we don't, we're considered least. And that don't mean that you're going to be in the kingdom at a low level. That means you're not going to be in the kingdom.
Right.
You're not getting it. Because you're not getting it here by not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments.
Okay.
You got to keep these law, statutes, and commandments to be great in the kingdom, to be in the kingdom of heaven, great or small. We got to keep them.
For without our dogs and whoremongers and sorcerers, those are the ones that's going to be least in the kingdom.
Kind. So, from there we want to go to Matthew. Stay in Matthew. We're going to go to chapter 13.
All right.
You know,
Chapter
so
13, which verse?
41 through 43.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 13, verses 41 through 43. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let him hear.
Kind. So that's just also just going into that. We keep these commandments, we're going to be blessed. We're going to save from that judgment. We don't, we get caught. When we get caught in sin, when Mashiach come back, we going in that furnace where there's weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. You know, that's the punishment. You know, we gotta always keep the punishment in mind, even though we looking at the blessings of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That judgment, that punishment is what keeps us focused. You know, always gotta keep that in mind. So let's look at some things that's going to happen to us or for us when we get into that kingdom, or when Mashiach return to give us the kingdom. Let's go to Isaiah 25.
Which verse?
Verse 6.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 25, and verse 6. And in this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well refined.
Keep reading.
And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
So, right there is saying that when Mashiach return, he's going to make a feast for us. We'll read that last line again.
And the veil that is spread, Salaki. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
That veil being the lies that's been spread to us. He's going to take away that covering, and the truth is going to be known. The truth of who we are.
Okay.
The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That we are the true children of Israel. We are those 12 tribes. The truth is going to be known that Hamashiach is a black man. All eyes are going to be open. So the world is going to see that truth is going to be out there. The covering is going to be removed. You can't hide from the truth no more. The truth is going to be there.
Okay. And so, as Yahweh Shai said, in that day we shall know the truth, and the truth shall make us free.
Okay. Where'd you stop at?
Stop at verse 7.
Keep reading.
Verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory, And the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for Yahweh hath spoken it. And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is Yahweh. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation.
Okay. So right there, just saying what I just said. And that day, the Most High is going to return. The world going to see. And we're going to praise him. The world going to say this is our God. They're going to also see that the Most High is a black man also, a man of war.
Okay.
You know, they're going to see it. The truth is going to be revealed. This is our God, and we're going to praise him. And that's what we're going to be doing forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
And so from there, let's go to Isaiah 65.
Which verse?
So like 17 start with.
Okay. So, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65. And I'm sorry, you said verse 17?
Okay.
For behold, I create a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy.
Okay. So this world that we in is going to be no more. We're going to have a new heaven, new earth. It's going to have a new Jerusalem. It's going to be where our kingdom is. You know, no more of this pollution, things like that.
Okay.
Keep reading.
And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days, nor the child shall die 100 years old. Salakia. Nor an old man that hath not filled his days, for the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed.
Okay. So right there, we're going to have full, fulfilled lives.
Okay.
You know, we're going to live. We ain't going to be weeping, groaning by noonday and at night. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a sense of security now, because we're going to be living under the Most High, our Elohim. And everything's going to be good for us, because we're going to be in that kingdom, those of us who are righteous and keeping these commandments.
Okay.
Keep reading.
And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of Yahweh, and their offspring with them.
Okay. So right there, the opposite of how we living now.
Okay.
You know, we're not going to be working for somebody else, making somebody else rich. We're going to be growing our own vineyards and enjoying the fruits of them. We're going to be building our own houses and enjoying living in them.
Okay.
You know, everything's going to be for us. What we do is going to be for us, not nobody else. That's what the kingdom is about.
Okay.
You know, and keep reading.
And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith Yahweh.
Just meaning, in the kingdom, there's going to be peace.
Okay.
You know, no wars in the kingdom. Everybody going to be settled. Any of that, obviously, is going to be done away with. So, just in the kingdom is going to be peace, even between the animals. Let's go back to Isaiah 35. verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 35, and beginning at verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice, and the blossom as the rose. It shall blossom abundantly, and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of Yahweh, and the excellency of our Elohim. Keep going.
Well, I'll come 1 second. So right there we see that the world, not just Israel, the world going to rejoice. The trees, the land, going to rejoice when Elohim return. Why? Because the enemies of this world, the enemies of our world, of our Elohim, is going to be put under. So everything that's wrong with the world now, like I said, the pollution and everything, destruction of this world is going to be put to an end. So the world even going to rejoice.
Okay.
So, yeah, keep reading.
Verse 3. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your El will come with vengeance, even Elohim with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as a hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert.
Keep reading.
Verse 7. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes. And a highway shall be there, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransomed of Yahweh shall return, and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and singing and sighing shall flee away.
So right there, just saying again, when Mashiach return, and we start entering into the kingdom, that he's going to make straight way for us. He's going to clear the way. You know what I'm saying? So even the lions won't be there to attack us or do us any harm. He's going to clear the way for us. And it said no sinner not going to walk that way. Only ones that's righteous, that's keeping his commandments, is going to walk that way and walk that land. What was that, 35? Salakia?
Okay.
Let's go to 10, Isaiah 10.
Verse
20.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, and verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty Elohim.
Read that, the beginning again.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
Right there. So, no more Stockholm Syndrome. You know, we won't depend on the ones that smote us. We're going to depend on the Most High. No more trying to depend on our enemy to do for us.
Okay.
You know, we're going to be dependent on the Most High, which is what we should be doing all anyway. You know, that's keeping these commandments, following these statutes, keeping our holy days, being in righteousness. So, And that's how, once we do that, we don't never need our enemy.
Okay.
Don't need them anyway. And we definitely not going to lean on them for anything because we're going to know better.
Okay.
So from there, actually I want to go to Psalms 96. I think that's what I wanted anyway.
Which verse?
11. Start at 11. We're going to read through 13.
Okay. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 96, verse 11 through verse 13. Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. Let the field be joyful, and all that is therein. Then shall all the trees of the wood rejoice before Yahweh, for he cometh to judge the earth. He shall judge the world with righteousness, and the people with his truth.
Okay. That's the 13?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So right there, again, the earth is going to rejoice when the Most High return and come to judge the world. Why? Because the earth is almost in a state of captivity as it is itself. You know,
Okay.
as of now, we don't even keep the year of Jubilee and give the earth rest for the year that we're supposed to. So the earth don't even get the rest like it should. It's constantly being worked. You know, trees constantly being cut down, water's polluted, animals dying, going extinct. So when the Most High come to judge the world, the earth is going to rejoice because the earth knows itself that it's going to have time to rest.
Okay.
That it's going to have time to heal. It's going to be healed. And so, salvation is not even only for us, it's for the earth itself. Because, we need salvation for the earth to have a kingdom. We don't want to have our kingdom on a polluted earth. We need a clean earth. That's what the Most High want for us too. Have a clean earth, clean land for us to grow our vineyards so we can enjoy them. So again, that's, not only for us, but for the earth. We are going to rejoice when our enemy is put under.
Okay.
So from there, let's go to everybody's favorite, Isaiah 14.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them.